Today I'm going to pull this thing out and swap the shifter on it to a shifter that I have searched for years and finally got one. I don't know much, but what I do know is in '62, when these beautiful things came out, the Max Wedge cars had 3-speed manuals. You could get the push-button auto, but they had a 3-speed manual. Chrysler didn't have a 4-speed at that time, not a 4-speed manual. So they had a 3-speed, and it had kind of like a plastic cover that was the hump, and a little circular boot, and a little tiny shifter with a black handle on it. Very unique. I imagine people who want to do a '62 Max Wedge car like to the T and it's a 3-speed, that's what they want. And I've actually saw a guy who actually found an NOS cover, so kudos to him. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted the 4-speed. I had a specific vision for this car when I did it. It was a 318 poly with a push-button auto, and I wanted a big block 4-speed. The Hurst 4-speed boot with the red H, which I found miraculously in very good shape, and I wanted what's called the banana shifter. So in '62, '63, Chrysler didn't have a 4-speed yet. So in '63, they went to a 4-speed, but it was the T-10. So if you got a big block car, Max Wedge or not, you wanted a 4-speed standard, you got the T-10. And with the T-10 came the banana shifter. And because they're so few and far between, they were only put in big block cars in '63. Some say early '64. I imagine Chrysler had some extra banana shifters and they just threw them in cars as they went down the line. Finding one is near impossible, and if you do, you're talking, at least the time that I've been searching, $600, $800, $1,000 just for the handle. That is why when I found this gem for sale for under $50 to my house, I jumped on it. It is in pretty terrible shape, as you can see, and it was actually hacked off. So there should be another like 2 inches here, which I'm okay with. It exists. If I ever want to, weld on 2 inches of steel stock and get it fixed and chromed, at least it exists. It has this unique turn up here at the end, and when I saw it for sale, I immediately recognized it. I've been looking at every shifter handle for sale forever, for everywhere on the planet that you could look, always looking for this turn up here. Because it's in such horrible shape, kind of like this trunk lid here, I had two options: quote unquote restore it at home, or actually, like I said, weld a piece on, get the holes fixed, or weld them up, grind it down, clean it up, remove the rust with some kind of rust remover thing, and have it sent out and get chromed. That would take months and months and lots of money, and you'd still have all these pits around the Hurst sign. So I went with my standby quick glow to clean up the chrome, which works excellent. It can take a lot of rust like right off, but this was deep pits. And then I took the chrome paint pen, painted the pits and everything with the liquid chrome. So this is as good as it gets for right now. So we're going to install it. It should put me in a better position as far as shifting, because these shifters, these were in cars, E-bodies from '64 up to I think '70, maybe beyond. And as you can see, they're very long. They used to call them knuckle crunchers when you put them in a '62, because you could smack your hand here. I mean, if the heat is on, it comes close, but this should put it right about there. Yeah, nice and low and a little bit shorter. I tried to find another shifter for this that was a little shorter, and I just couldn't find one. So hopefully this works out. Some fool installed a stereo and everything here, so I don't know if I can get these. The good news is, I think I have enough boot here. You know, if I wanted to extend it, just cob it, I could do that. So we'll have to see how this works out. And as that sits, that's going to be way short. Yeah, it needs to be longer than that. That's too short. Oops. Typical. Take a perfectly good running car and make it immobile. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I just don't like this. It's too high. Okay, gotta find a happy medium. It's a few weeks later, back on the banana shifter saga. I reached out to some Mopar people asking for someone who had this 3-speed shifter, if they could draw me a template and mail it to me. And what actually happened was somebody contacted me and said, hey, I have 4 of those. I only need 3. And a week later, bam, I have a full shifter that's not been hacked off. Chrome could be better, but it could be worse. I mean, compared to this. But yeah, this will do fine. Just for fun, let's see how close I was with this pattern of mine. And I've already looked at this and I was not very close at all. If we line this up, it's easy to see I was way off. And that would really kind of put a monkey wrench in shifting. So this shifter handle doesn't go to waste. I actually took this one and made a pattern. So if me or someone else in the future wants to restore this handle and return it to its full length, there's the pattern. I also noticed a couple things. These are kind of different, whereas this one is beveled on all the edges, like a lot. And this one is squared off. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but this is really squared off, and this has really got some bevel to it. The other thing I noticed, this one, the hacked off one, it's machined down here at the base of the threads, where it's like thinner than the threads, where this one is just threaded all the way down. And on the end here, you can really see the bevel, where this is rounded all the way around, and this is literally squared off completely all the way around. I mean, yeah, someone may have hacked off the threads on this. That's one thing, but the end of this is completely different. So the other thing I noticed, the Hurst, when I first got this, I questioned even if this was the correct one, because the Hurst is so shallow. Like, you can barely get it with your finger. And I imagine if, like, you had this re-chromed, you could potentially lose that engraving. It's so shallow. And it's kind of wonky, too. It looks almost like someone did it by hand. Where the later one, 64 and up, it is engraved. And it's kind of beveled engraved. I mean, that is in there. So this should keep the ball where it is, but just change the path that you go. So it doesn't have that kick up where you're throwing it so far forward you're almost hitting the dashboard. The A-bodies did this as well. Like the 70s A-body shifters, they also had this kick up, and it's not really user friendly. Doesn't really have the right feel to it. So I bought this banana shifter. It's been hacked off, so I found one that wasn't hacked off, and when I bolt it in, it hits the dash like ridiculously. So my initial thought was bolt this to the top bolt and extend it with a piece of scrap metal, and then I was thinking maybe just make a piece of metal and then weld it to this, and these 2 holes aren't used, but this is kind of thick material and I couldn't really find anything laying around. Then I thought, well, I have this laying around, it's already been hacked, so the plan is use the bottom bolt as the top bolt and then hack off the bottom of this. It's not going to hurt it. It's already been hacked like 3.5 inches. So hack this off, weld it on, it's the same thickness, the hole's already drilled, done. And then when I mount this, the bottom hole will be the top hole, and I could put it where it's even with the shifter that's on there now, so it's in the same spot, but I want it a little lower. So when this shifter's down, it'll be closer to the seat, and when it's up, it'll be way far away from the dash, and it'll be a little shorter. Because if I put it up here, it's obviously almost as tall as this one, and I want it at least a little shorter and a little lower. This is the plan. I don't have a welding table, so I found this piece of metal, and it'll probably stay here forever now because it's a nice piece. It's nice and flat. So this will eventually go here. So the plan is to weld these two together. This handle's got a little curve to it, so I made sure it was straight. So does this one. So I'll weld them together, and then I'll chop it off, and we'll see if this stupid idea works. That's a first for me. 2 Hurst shifter handles welded together. Not too shabby. I got the grinder. So we'll clean this up. That welder, it's a Hobart. It's not supposed to be able to weld this thick of metal, but I just turned it all the way up and filled it in gradually and just ground it down. It worked fine. So now I'll mark it and just cut it, and I'll have a shifter. 2 to 1, back to 2 again. So we'll test fit this. I'm pretty confident. Somewhere, someone making a Max Wedge clone is crying. So here goes nothing. I don't know why I have all these shifter parts. Like, this piece has threads in it. This one doesn't, but has numbers on it. And then there's this threaded thing that goes with this. I think this shifter I bought new, I think it came with this. But that means you have to put the bolts in on this side, and I think it's easier to do it on this side. So that's what we'll do. The leaf blower capital of the nation here. So that's first, but it won't be there, it'll be here, because this is where I'll tighten it. The other shifter had the same amount of play. Second will be here, which is good. Reverse, I'll be there, which isn't that far up. I'm way away from this heater thing, which I could hit when the heat was on. Alright, I'm going to button this up. We'll see what it looks like. There it is. With the leaf blower in the background. It really looks nice. Do you see the appeal? I think it's perfect. It fits the car. So I went with the shifter ball with the numbers in it for a couple of reasons. One, I always thought that that shifter ball was larger than the regular one, but I actually measured them. They're the same diameter, but this one is flat on the top. It just, I don't know, just works better for me. Plus I kind of like the aftermarket kind of effect of it with the Hurst, with the red and the, you know, so people aren't like, is that a Max Wedge clone? I get that a lot, and it's really annoying. I just think it looks really cool. That was my vision, and I finally got the shifter handle done. So the only thing this interior needs now is the headliner. That is literally it. It's gonna get the headliner, the hardboard white with the perforations, as soon as I can spare a few dimes. And then the interior is done. That is 2 vehicles in 24 hours, roadworthy once again. Got the shifter sorted out with this. And the little S10 got a new drive shaft and muffler and some other stuff. So that'll wrap this one up. A little short video on the banana shifter, and now I gotta take it for a rip. Thanks for watching.